Sharon Williams. We are here watching the 2019 Women's Grand Final between Souths and Oxfords.
Exciting day, Alex. It's two of the more experienced teams in Premier League Grand Finals. Oxford's won it last year. Souths have been in the Grand Final a couple of years, but just haven't been able to convert. So I know they've bolstered some of their stocks up, and they'll be throwing everything into today's game.
I really think it's going to be a bit of a battle of the experience in Oxfords against the youth of Souths. And I think we saw it in the major semi-final, and Souths just got that little leg up. But it was very close, so I'm expecting a pretty close one again.
Yeah, I umpired that game, so it was very much a battle in the 25 area. The midfield was very, very dominant. And Souths just took their opportunities in 7-on-7 drop-off. So they did use their speed. They threw a couple of different players on as well. And I think that Souths were a little bit more prepared for that game and that extra time than what Oxford's. But Oxford's will learn from that. They've got some great experience on the sideline. Jude Lang's over there, I can see. And she'll just be pulling strings when she needs to, I'm sure.
Two pretty impressive goalkeepers in these two teams. Mackenzie Harvey, 16 years old for South. She didn't play the semi. She had a little bit of a run-in with a female rugby player's shoulder at school, and she had a broken nose, but she's back in the net now for Souths. And Jazz Etheridge for Oxfords.
Yeah, interesting there, Alex, because they're both South junior girls. Jazz has been to a couple of clubs since she left South, and she's got her opportunity this year. Jess Parr's out with a little bung knee over there, but she's made the Pride side, so Oxfords are full of experience there when they need to be. But there's nothing between these two goalkeepers. Maybe Jazz a little bit more experienced, but you know, if it rolls for you, it rolls for you. If it doesn't, it's a pretty big, long day in the net.
Looks like young Ken's Harvey might be having a few little technical difficulties out there with equipment.
Here's an old joke, Al. How many people does it take to pad up a goalkeeper?
I think there's also a TD officer out there.
25.
There we go. Oh, she's good to go.
Let's talk about our umpires at the moment, Alex. We've got two fantastic umpires. They're both on the national panel at the moment. Kate Cook. She wasn't active this year, but she's a great umpire, and she's got some really good relationships with the girls on the field, in the way that she plays a lot of advantage and she talks to the girls really well.
Yeah, I agree. Cassidy Gallagher too. Tell us about Cassidy.
Yeah, she's from the Central Coast. She's definitely active on the national panel this year, and she might not talk as much as Kate, but she's very, very technical in the way of... they're both very experienced players as well.
So, again, we're seeing a little bit of a tussle to start with in the midfield. Some really strong hockey players in the middle of the field here.
Yeah, Talia McKenzie's got the ball now.
Now, Talia's just popped one up there, and that was, now this is something that South have provided me, this information, so that was redhead to redhead then, and apparently South are very proud of their two redheads that apparently don't take any rubbish from anybody.
Yeah, no comment there.
Now, it'll be interesting to see. I'm a really big fan of Ellen Seninger in the centre there for Oxford's number 99. She holds the centre of the field beautifully and really distributes the ball stick to stick. I'm expecting her to play a really big role in the Oxford's game today.
Yeah, controls the ball well. Maybe a little bit slower than the South midfield, but definitely got the smarts up the top. She'll be dominant in there. She's a player that knows when to go forward and then when to go laterally. And she's been a big buy for a big win for them in the last couple of years. I think this is her last year. She gets...
yeah, she's off to the Northern Territory from what I can understand.
Yeah.
Little Amy Smith over there are always very dangerous in the right midfield for Oxford.
Smitty pops up every now and then in the right place at the right time.
I do like the movement of Souths around the back of the field. That's a great ball. Lovely little touch down the sideline.
They are very patient with the ball. Both teams are very patient with the ball. I think when you come to these games, Al, that you're experienced that will win there.
Nice little ball.
Over the top.
We're seeing a bit more of the overhead play, which I really like. I think it really stretches the game.
Nice patience from Danielle Barry here. She's got a great stretch.
Danielle Barry, very impressive, I thought, in the major semi-final. Kiani Abel will not lose the ball in the circle there if she's got it on the stick. Made a beautiful pass back, but Oxfords have cleaned that up well. And
your favourite player, Ellen, in there with a back stick tackle.
Beautiful. And lovely patience, just really stretching them, using this right side really effectively to slow things down but spread things out and attack around Oxfords.
Yeah. The midfield today will do about 6.5 kilometres on the field, which is a really good rate there in this kind of game. Souths have been quite dominant in the first.
And they're really using this right side well.
Good advantage from the umpire there. Nice inside
Lovely ball. Nearly made that.
Yeah.
Very good hockey player, this one. And that's a sneaky, risky ball, but one that was executed perfectly. And another great play out to the right, sort of right outside right position. Really tossing, trying to look for that tossed ball down the line into the pocket. Great aerial skills there.
The 3D skills have really come into the game in the last 5 or 6 years. We're teaching our juniors a lot about the 3D skills, when to use it. It's very, very hard to defend.
Notice then too, Shaz, that Souths are applying a lovely sideline press there, really forcing Oxfords to pop the ball onto South's four-stick. Oh, Phoebe Bloin-Collier, is this, no, is that Phoebe?
Yep. Oh no, that's Kim Tuckle down there.
Kim Tuckle, Kim Small. Kim Small. Now let's talk about Kim Small. 88 Olympic team she was in. She is the oldest player without question on the field, but an incredibly fit, very, very good hockey player. Great asset for Oxfords, and I think really provided great experience. Amy Waller, brandishing some additional headgear today.
Yeah, Amy got hit in the final. I'm not sure if she got stitches, but it was pretty nasty and a pretty jagged cut. But Amy's a bit of a stalwart for Oxfords and does extremely well to continue her hold of her position in Premier League. I think this would be at least the 12th consecutive year.
She's threatening that this is going to be her last season, but she's a great competitor, Amy Waller, and loves the game of hockey. Here she is out on the right-hand side, really utilising, again, that right-hand side, both teams well. That outside right pass really opens the play up and allows lateral leading to be effective. Bit of a shout out, Sharon. I know we've got the fantastic, talking of stalwarts, Colleen Quinn sitting at home watching this. Her next door neighbour, Roland Hatton, president of the Men's Association, has set Bar TV up for her at home. So a bit of a shout out to Quinny. We're missing her here.
Life member of NDWHA, and I'm pretty sure that I awarded her an award on behalf of New South Wales in 2011 as well.
Her much loved Oxfords playing out here today, so big shout out to Quinny. They really are working this right side well, aren't they?
Yeah, nice clean balls from Talia McKenzie to that's Tani Waters out there. I'm a firm believer of playing the 5-second game before you get the ball, and Oxford's just displayed that extremely well. They received and delivered one-touch hockey, knew where their players were going to be and moved on. That's a penalty, and I think that'll be the last little warning that the umpires give. That was well inside the 5 there.
Really great for young players to come and watch these teams play these games where they can actually see structure, well-structured hockey and the use of the whole field.
Yeah.
We've we've seen that ball at both ends of the field, out in the right-hand pocket, just tossed, lobbed into the circle.
That one was a direct feed into the circle, so it didn't travel 5 metres controlled or touch a player, so that's why that penalty was awarded. But definitely these two teams, all the Premier League teams, are making the defence get out of the middle, taking players out of their comfort zone and getting into those pockets, trying to isolate one-on-one players.
As the game settles in, we'll start to see some of these lovely little combinations in both teams. They throw the ball, they throw some lovely long passes, but both teams quite like the short plays too. And when we start to see some movement, I'm waiting to see our young Neva Williams up here when she actually gets hold of the ball and has got a couple of players around her. We see some lovely stick-to-stick passing and lovely elimination play.
Ashen Ennis with the ball.
Nice little hockey
Just
player as well.
Thrown away there, and she might get that.
Seeing some nice little skill here, and Oxford's trying to double team the South player coming out. I think South managed to find a foot there, but I think both teams are going to need to be nice and patient in their tackling when the other team is coming out of defence, and they'll get some of those steals.
Yeah, most definitely. Kate or Cassie won't put up with any sloppy stuff, even when it gets late in the game. You can see the umpires are probably keeping them at about 6 metres away at the moment, rather than the 5. At the end of the game, we'll probably get to the 5.
Lovely touch back there from Oxford's.
Play the way you're facing.
Whoop.
Oh, good touch, Ellen.
She's just a very, very classy hockey player. Lovely skill shown there.
Yep.
Worked for that free hit.
The Oxford's players in Phoebe and Neve Dixon up the top, and even Ashen Ennis there, is a little bit more experience and a little bit more speed. I'm surprised Ash didn't go to the tomahawk then. First penalty corner of the game there. Kate's indicating there was a stick shield or a stick obstruction. So that's where you're using your stick over the ball rather than allowing your defender player to get the ball.
I think what I like about the Oxford players particularly, I think we see a bit of it probably with Kiani Abel down the south end as well, as they're smart in the circle. They know if they can't get a shot away, they're really looking for that foot. They're looking for the short corner. Both teams have good short corner batteries, and I think that's where we're going to see some activity in the game. Gone for a short play, and Ellen probably looking for that right-hand post. Just wasn't quite executed, but another short corner to Oxford's. Great crowd here today, Sharon.
Yeah, the men's grand final, thirds and seconds have both been on Bar TV, and Premier League's on afterwards, so it is good.
Lovely day in Newcastle, a little bit of wind.
That's only kicked up. I've just come off the field umpiring. It wasn't there then. It's gone high.
A bit of a wild shot too. We'll be playing 4 quarters today, 4 quarters of 15 minutes.
Yep.
A new format.
Yep.
Format out of FIH, out of the International Federation for Hockey. That hockey's now played in quarters, not in halves. We have played it in Premier League for 15-minute halves. We haven't yet looked at it for our lower grades, but I think progressively we'll start to look at converting all our games to quarters. How different is it, Sharon? You've played it this year when you've been playing for Tigers in Premier League. How different is the quarters? Where's the advantage in it, etc.?
Well, if you're on the board, it's a bit hard. If you're on the border of success, you don't want that quarter time or 3/4 time break. And if you're on the border of a bit of momentum, then you definitely don't want it. But if you're struggling, you've got your back to the wall and you've just been pummeled for the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's a welcome break.
I think when we start to get to this end of the season too, and playing these games in the middle of the day, I think we're probably going to have some pretty happy hockey players just to have that little break.
Yeah, that 6.5 kilometres is probably looking pretty high.
Lovely ball into the centre of the field there, and right idea by Souths, but just couldn't quite execute that. Neva Williams in the centre at the moment, Sharon, do you think? The DMs?
No, I'd be saying that she's a
centre striker.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not.
Neva Williams, traditionally a centre midi.
Yeah, attacking centre half.
Yeah, decided just to have a bit of a run up as a striker this season, just for something different. Neva's playing a lot of hockey at a higher level, and I think she's chosen to have a run at striker. So very, very dangerous hockey player with the ball on a stick. So Oxford will be very wary of Neva.
Neva played for us last year, and
okie dokie. We don't actually see a lot of that, and that's a bit disappointing. Actually,
and you don't need to see it either.
We don't need to see that. I think that might have just been a little bit of a little bit wrapped up in each other, so we might just hopefully see that Cassidy's calmed that down very quickly.
Yep, both of them into the naughty chair for a green card there. 2 minutes.
Excellent control shown by the umpire.
Yeah, we don't need to see any of that. That's not what our juniors want to see. I'm sure the crowd did, but yeah.
I'm wondering whether today Apps might have got away with not being thrown into that little green card, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, one each, and they'll be off for just a couple of minutes, Sharon.
Yep, 2 minutes, and they're both strikers, so we won't see any movement of anything into the midfield, which is.
Oh, geez, it was a close one.
That was a close one.
They're the ones that the goalie and the. In fact, it's the coach that generally has a bit of a heart attack when those balls happen.
Yep. Just back on Neva Williams, we threw her up in the forward line there early. Late in the year last year, and we reaped a lot of success from that. So she's someone with a high work rate. Doesn't like to run with the ball too much, but definitely she's a very fit player. She'll be mowing and tracking down anyone that's coming out of defence.
A couple of other young players for South that are very impressive. I can see Tasia Abel in the centre of the field now. Looks like she's playing one of the high DMs or the traditional sort of centre half position. Lovely hockey player, Tasia Abel, just getting better every single time I watch her. But given the opportunity, she will really distribute the ball well for South.
Yeah, scored the winning goal in their major semi-final, up in the attacking midi striking role when they were down to 7. Tasia's played, she started in the backs and she's probably progressed, whereas a lot of players go to the back. That's quarter time in the first quarter. Alex, only 2 minutes, and players should stay on the field. It's probably something that we haven't policed as an association or umpires, and the girls are probably not prepared in the way of management of getting the water bottles out there.
Newcastle International Hockey Centre right next door to the Westpac helicopter emergency pad, and we've got a chopper hovering very close to us over there, hovering a little closer than they normally would.
Probably getting an aerial view. Ringside seats there.
Yeah. So, South's coach, Tony Duck, father of Caitlin Duck, over there addressing his troops. And Jude Lang probably not saying very much. She'll probably only say one or two things on the sideline during the game, but there'll be things that you want to be listening to.
Yeah, Jude's a quality, not a quantity person, so one or two things. I remember going away in 1988 to Perth with her, and she told us of a battery to do it, do the number 2 battery, and Megan Lippy said, nah, look, we'll do number 3, which obviously went to Megan. Megan scored. Jude pulled her off, never play again. So you didn't die. You didn't go against what Jude said.
I think the lovely thing about Judy Lang is she's been around for such a long time in Newcastle and just developed so many hockey players, really, really great hockey players. Done so much work with this association, and we're still very lucky to have her. And she's now actually coaching a bunch of kids that are literally 10, 11, 12, and I think she's having the best time of her life, and they just love her, so we're super lucky to have her involved in our association.
There'd probably be 4 or 5 South girls, maybe a couple of Oxford's girls that have reaped the benefits of Jude's coaching there and then.
Now, the person that just fed that ball into the circle was young Astrid Bennett, another very young player for Souths, a Central junior actually, went over to Souths, very, very good friends with Tasia Abel. Astrid, for me, is a very underrated hockey player. I really like Astrid. I think given the opportunity, she will continue to grow in her game, and she just fed a beautiful ball into the circle then.
That penalty corner was given away because Dan Berry went to ground, just come off a body there.
Nice defensive short corner run by Oxford's there.
Cassidy was a little bit unsighted then, got the call from Kate over the mic, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't quite see, I think. Amy Waller feeding nice, simple, easy ball, stick to Ellen. Amy, again, stick to stick. Some very simple but effective hockey.
Yeah, they love their triangle work, and they do support the ball carrier. That was a bit of a throwaway. They do support the ball carrier really well, Oxford's. Each team's got about 5 on the bench today.
Yeah, be interesting to see how each of them are moving. Now I can see a sub coming on here. This is Alison Maddox.
Yeah, Ali
Daly. Yeah. Now Ali's about 43 and tiny lady. Got the ball now. Very, very good hockey player.
Just upgraded to a graphite stick, I think. I think she was playing with a little wooden oboe up until this year.
Nothing wrong with a bit of a timber hockey stick. Now Ali played very well in the semi. Was very, very effective, and so I'll be curious to see what sort of impact she has today. Great tackle. Natalie Strawhorn.
Yeah.
Natalie Strawhorn. So Auckland grew up in Darwin.
She played for the
she did
for the Northern Territory
for the Pearls.
Yeah.
She's only 21 as well. So Oxford still have their young guns out there, the likes of Natalie, Phoebe Bloin-Collier, who just reversed just through that little Tommy
Dixon there. Yep. It's one thing that I've noticed with the new.
Oh, here we go.
There's a goal there from Kim Tuckle, I think, it's on the ground there. Kim Small?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Getting up off the ground.
Yep, so there you go. A bit of experience, right spot. You cannot underestimate the importance of having players around the goalkeeper, picking up scraps.
Yep, I don't even know how that ball got turned in, but you can see the camaraderie in Oxford's. Every player, bar the 2 that have to sit for the defence, got to Kim Tuckwell.
Yeah.
I think Ali Maddox just ran 70 metres to do that, so it's great to see.
She's not exhausted.
Yeah, go for the Ventolin now, mate.
Yeah.
It's great to see. This is what grand final, this is what the 21 weeks of the premiership has been. So this year we had 20 weeks of competition. We had 6 Newcastle teams and 3 Central Coast teams. The last of the Central Coast teams got knocked out last week with Gosford. It was a really tightly contested game against Oxford. Oxford's just got up 1-0, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of very close games. A lot of games that went to one-on-ones with the keepers. We call them
Red Ellen.
Wobble-offs, as we like to call them. Lots and lots of games that were close, which is great. Phoebe Bloin-Collier, a lovely feed, lovely touch by Neem Dixon.
Yeah, they'll be a bit disappointed there. They had an opportunity to get out, and it wasn't a stick-to-stick pass, and the Souths were sweating on that.
Quite like Neem Dixon up the front there too. I think she's dynamic, she's skillful, and her and Phoebe have a lovely little combination going up the front there. So you can see both these Oxford strikers, particularly Neem and Phoebe. Oh, we've just had an intercept, and Kiani Abel will punish Oxford's here. Oh, a lovely tackle by Tanae Arps there.
Yeah, Apps had to get on a bike then. She was actually the one that handed the ball over, so...
Yep, she did well to get back.
Yeah.
So just talking again about these Oxford strikers, you can see both Phoebe and Neem, they're wandering. That's Neem with the ball now. Again, she's going to get one of those balls. She's wandering. She's making the defence actually follow her. The defence aren't necessarily watching the ball. They're watching her. They're worried about where she is, which is making it very difficult for them.
Yeah, the movement off the ball, either dynamic or not, is a huge percentage for a striker.
I'd say this quarter we're starting to see Oxford. I think Oxford's have probably dominated this one a little bit more control out of Oxford. Souths have gone a little bit quiet in terms of their structure.
Got to add another turnover as well. Ellen should be careful of those tackles.
Astrid Bennett again, lovely simple play, very skillful. She's been effective since she's come on, Astrid Bennett. However, you do notice, when you see a team that starts very well and the ball movement's great and they've got some really good patterns going on and then a couple of subs are made, they need to settle in.
You can see the press there that Souths are allowing them to go to the sideline, and that was just a simple turnover.
But another simple turnover. So I think one of the messages from coaches is going to be we don't want to make these unforced errors. We need to really value possession.
Yeah, talk about that 5-second game again now. Like if you're winning your 5-second games, there's about 600 in a game, but if you're winning those 5-second games or knowing what to do, making the tackle, making the pass, then you're going to come out on top.
Great.
And we've just seen where there's a couple of 5-second games that have only gone for probably 1 or 2 seconds and turned over. They've stretched that. That press then.
They did, and Oxford's tried to cut off that pass to the outside right, but what they did by doing that was open up the pass to the centre of the field. If Tasia Abel had actually made that receive, Oxford's were going to be in a bit of trouble. Just a
stick check and roll up onto the body.
The stick. So they've changed their press a little bit here, Oxford's. Yeah, you have to be very careful as strikers when you are pressing that you don't open up the centre of the field to break down a pass that's less dangerous. Tasia Abel with the ball. Very skillful. There'll be a short. I was expecting a short corner there, but it didn't happen. We're in the circle. The keepers just lifted that onto Oxford's, I thought. Now, that was an interesting tackle option by Tanae Abs.
Yeah, but she got away with it.
She did. And
corner.
look, I think Oxford's were lucky not to get a short corner against them there, but
there's a couple of stick checks in there as well. We're not wide into the umpire, so you might be able to hear it play on. You got the ball,
absolutely,
you got the advantage.
Absolutely, but there was nothing definitive, and I think that's the thing we've got to remember. You really need to make sure that you're definitive in what you're trying to do. Well umpired there. Nothing in that.
Yep, nothing in
that. Lovely.
And they're out.
Very, very well umpired by Cassidy Gallagher there, I thought, Sharon.
Yeah, on the back stick of Ash Dennis, they've got out, relieving 16 for them. Now they've got to be aware that they need to push up. They can't sit. Oxfords can't sit in defence here, and we'll have a look. And
yeah, they're a long way back at the moment.
Yeah.
Lovely lateral movement there by Tasia Abel, was that? Yep. Yes, nice. This wind is picking up too, Sharon.
It might be the helicopter trying to land
the helicopter,
again.
Absolutely.
There's a nice triangle from Oxford's.
Again, very comfortable playing together the right-hand side of that Oxford's field.
Nice circle penetration.
Beautiful skill. I think South might have been appealing for a lifted ball, but I think that hit a foot before it went into the air, and I think that might have been what Kate was calling them for.
Yeah, and it was a shot on goal, so it is allowed to be lifted.
Yep.
They weren't directly in front of the goalkeeper, so she would have also got some assistance off Cassie.
I love seeing some of these young players just knowing that as they're carrying the ball and they're reverse stick, they know they want to get the Tommy away, the tomahawk shot away off the reverse stick, and they really look to where they place that ball, and then the movement or the stick swing is very, very quick.
Yeah, they're all moving the ball to the reverse stick side, and they're all very capable. It's a bit of a breakdown. They're all very capable tomahawkers.
Oh, that's lovely ball movement by Oxford's there. Very smart play by Ellen again. Instead of having the shot herself there at that left position, she's actually sent the ball into a free player.
Yeah, they are appealing for something. I'm not 100% sure there.
Danielle Barry just popping one into the centre there, and there was a couple of little touches there.
Yeah, that could go anywhere.
Yeah.
As a goalkeeper, it's probably your worst nightmare.
Yeah, very difficult to see what's going on as the ball is touched in the air and changes direction. As you say, Sharon, a goalkeeper is not going to enjoy that. Left-hand pocket, a yucky spot to have the ball.
Yeah.
Really important that the players can get some stick-to-stick passing going here and make some clean exits out of that corner. And probably carrying the ball is not ideal. Stuck more in this corner.
What they will,
found a foot.
Yeah, what they'll rely on is a foot and then a quick injection by running it and keeping those two players out of the contest.
Ellen looking for that exit ball.
That's what you just saw Ash Ninnis do. Apps picks up Barry, and Barry will pick up Waller, I reckon, over there on the right. No, yep. Nice and safe. Probably isolated her a little bit.
Good skill by Amy Waller. Takes a quick free hit.
Nice
sends a lovely ball just a little bit off the ground that makes it difficult to trap.
I'm surprised that South haven't put two high strikers up here. 2 minutes to go until half time, and probably just to stretch that out. We all had 21 players inside the half there.
Yeah, and once again we're seeing a little bit of midfield play, but seeing Waller using her body again to stop balls. She really needs to stop doing that.
Stick love. Oh, that's not 5.
Probably should have a chat about just the rulings now. Oh, and Neem Dixon trying to get a bit of an intercept. Sarah Creasy with the ball there, I think, outside right for Souths.
Yep.
Lovely ball. Phoebe Blink-Hollier, but tackled. Beautiful tackle. Unfortunately, not a lot of communication, so a little bit of miscommunication and confusion as she's changed direction there. Talia McKenzie, that's up the back, isn't it?
Talia was playing in the back, yeah.
Yes, run into Tasia Abel there. Oh, Amy Waller, just a little bit high, a little bit out of position there, starting to maybe get a little bit tired.
Well, as a right half, you kind of caught, do you want to be the attacking right half, but you actually have to, the first point of call is to support your low back there. So she had to drop back into a position where Danny could have easily given her the ball. We were threading a needle then.
So this is interesting. The play around the circle, although we just found a ball pop out here. This is a lovely ball.
She does do the deceptive slap shot really, really well.
She does, and this
Lara Watts.
This area of the field has worked well for South. They need to keep using it. Very, very good skill by Lara Watts coming into the circle there.
Yeah. Probably didn't have too much support in the way of South. She beat 3 players there and didn't really go anywhere, but good control.
Now, for the older hockey players watching today, years ago, Tasia Abel could have just smashed that ball into the circle from the 25-yard line. Why can't she do that anymore, Sharon?
So we've cleaned up the circle penetrations as umpires. As Phoebe Blunk-Holly has probably got a 4-on-2 here. Yep. 2-on-4. That's gone.
And Dixon's just probably needed to hold that ball a little bit longer. They had they had defenders, too many defenders there, not enough attackers.
And players were coming. So as an umpire, FIH was just trying to clean up the circle penetration so we're not getting people cracking the ball in. So they've got to travel 5 in a controlled manner, or it's got to touch another player, either an attacker or defender, but once again they have to be 5 as well.
So half-time, how long does the teams have for half-time?
4 minutes for half-time in the new format.
So what do we think that these coaches are going to be saying to the two teams? If you were coaching Oxford's, what would you be saying to them now, Sharon?
A little bit more control. We're trying to go forward too quickly, so let's just pick our time when we do want to go forward. When you're trying to feed someone like Neve Dixon and Phoebe Blancholly, they are very magnetic towards goal. So I just tell them to be a little bit more patient. You saw in the last 3 minutes we had 21 players, so that's 2 teams minus the goalkeeper for Oxford's in the attacking Oxford's half, and then we spent 3 minutes the other way as well. So it's kind of, we're not playing end-to-end hockey. We're kind of playing down an end, and then we're camping for 2 or 3 minutes. Then we're going back, and then we're camping again. So. It's not really free flowing. We're not getting a lot of ball in and out.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think if I was Tony Duck talking to South right now, I'd be saying, you know, we really want to start to see a bit of stretching in their play. I think that they're, like I said, I think they had quite a bit of joy in this right-hand pocket. I think in the first half we saw Caitlin Duck in that right-hand pocket, and then we saw Kiani Abel pick up a ball there, and we've just seen Lara Watts there in the right-hand pocket. They've all made circle penetrations from that right-hand corner. That's working. I think Souths need to be very careful that they're actually not walking into the circle, though, from the top of the circle, walking straight onto Oxford's flat stick. So I think they need to really be making sure that they're finding each other in this attacking 25. But I'd be wanting to see that ball coming out from the back down the right faster and really penetrating and taking Oxford's on this side where they may not quite have the pace that they have on the other side.
Yeah, those balls from Talia McKenzie to Tani Waters, they're coming out really quite quick and quite well. It's the next phase of play that I'd like to see, that there's a circle penetration or they kind of need to get in behind that midfield. They're not going to win the midfield. The midfield battle should really negate itself. Like, you've got people like Tasia Abel, Geordie Hardy's in there, Ellen's in there. They're going to negate each other. I'd really like to see, I'd love this to go to 9-on-9 again, but...
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Geordie Hardy, we haven't sort of spoken much about Jordan. Jordan, mid-20s, product of Taree hockey. She's a very hard worker in the midfield. We haven't seen, she's been a bit quiet in the first half, so I'll be looking forward to seeing a little bit more of her. Tani Walters was playing at that outside right position for South in the first half. I think Sarah Creasy might have come on and taken her spot. Both of them doing very well in there. So I think, to me, it looks like South had a few extra players than Oxford's in terms of their rotations. Which, you know, potentially is a good thing in terms of making sure you've got fresh legs, but may be a little bit tricky just in terms of the combinations. So Oxford's, I just feel like are just a little bit more settled at the moment in their play, although, as you said, it's sort of end to end. So looking forward to a cracking third quarter.
So traditional half-time that the teams swap over here. The sun's not really... you can see Oxford's doing a little pyramid on the crowd. That'd be the safest thing that Oxford's done today.
Oxford's, I think they probably do get the award for the most celebratory club, at least in Premier League. So they're sticking to this right-hand side combination of Amy Waller, Amy Smith and Phoebe Blanchollier. We've got Kim Tuckwell up the front again for Oxford's. Looks like they're sort of got Neve Dixon out on the left there. Amy Waller coming in. Kiani Abel. Very, very dangerous for Souths up the front there.
Kiani Abel started in the fullback and she was as solid as anything. She's developed some really finer stick skills, and she's someone that's gone from deep defender to a high attacker and has transitioned really well. If I was to compare her to anyone that people are listening to, she's the Darren Lockyer of hockey, really. Like, she's gone from the one and gone to the playmaker, but she finishes off really well. Her close skills are second to none in this competition.
Agreed. Now here's another one with incredibly beautiful stick skills, Phoebe Bloink-Collier.
Yeah, just did a roll over there and had her defender flat-footed and accelerated away. It's one of the things that I'm struggling to play Premier League still, but one of the things that I've noticed is the different technique of how the girls are attacking. Like, they are going to their back stick, they are, doing these spins and turns, and it's really developed my game because I've had to defend it. But it's also, I umpire at this level as well, and there's a fine line between obstructing and pulling this off
Absolutely.
Successfully, and the girls are just pitter away at it, and they perfect it. It's really good to watch.
Phoebe Bloink-Collier was recently named in the Australian indoor team, I understand. I don't think she's actually going to go away, but she was recognised in that team initially.
Good patience, Danny Barry.
Now here's another little unsung hero, I think, in Newcastle hockey. Danielle Barry, solid hockey player, very, very skillful, just so calm, cool and collected up the back there.
Yep.
Can tackle too.
Very patient. And she's got the longest reach
Long
ever.
reach. Here we go. We'll go out to the right here, South Swirl, and that's where you actually I think she's actually sort of apologising for that ball not being quite as fast as she thought it probably could have been. An easy short corner there, unfortunately for Dan Barry. I think that might have accidentally, she sort of got her feet a bit tangled up in that.
I think South have had two. This is their second penalty corner.
Now they have a couple of combinations here. Can we see who's on the hit here?
Tony Waters, I think, is going to drag flick.
Yeah. Lovely save by Jazz Etheridge there.
Yeah, probably not where Tani wanted to put it. I played her in second grade 2 weeks ago and she hit the crossbar. Definitely one of the players that can get some height on the ball and some power as well. That kind of was in Jazz's easy zone. Yeah.
Very, very difficult skill to perfect the short corner drag flick. And a lot of women find it difficult to perfect, to get the power, the pace, and the placement.
Yeah.
But when they do get it, incredibly difficult to defend against if it gets the sweet spot. Kate Cook, very calm, actually just waited to see whether Souths got away from that tackle.
Yeah.
Because she would be prepared to play the advantage, and Souths, defender on the ground, may have been in trouble there, but that
was a good collapsing defence from Oxford's there. So Dan Barry was caught out of position from a deflection from a ball that should have been cleared, and the right half there, the left half came and collapsed in. Back up to the top for the drag flick.
Oh, and a lovely combination there. Looking for a diving Kiani Abel, I think it was.
Yeah, they were just trying to feed the right post as we're looking at it there for the deflection in.
Kiani Abel's the current player of the year for NDWHA. We will announce a new one after this game for 2019, but currently holds the mantle. Lisa Mould out here, number 11, the Souths.
Yeah, played in their squad this year, came up from seconds. Her and Beck Omerod have been on the field a fair bit today.
Ball's just popped up by Brianna Sutton. Talia McKenzie very calm back there, with Kim Tuckwell really sort of at her heels, but nice, calm. Again, probably two very similar fullbacks or centre backs in these two teams, in Talia McKenzie and Danielle Barry.
Yep. Just threw the ball away there, Nat Strawhorn.
Whoop. Steal, nothing in that though. Phoebe Blanc-Hollier just weaving the ball through some of these defenders. Very difficult to tackle.
So when we're coaching hockey, we talk about 4 transitions of hockey. So you're either in defence, attack, you're transitioning into attack, or you're transitioning into defence. And one of the things that Oxford's manages to do is really transition from defence to attack well. They overlap and they just, once again, support the ball carrier. I haven't played or umpired a team that has always got 2 or 3 around the ball, or always, prepared to play short out. They're not very big hitters, although Danny Barry could probably pick up anyone within a metre over 100, but they're very much just working it all out.
I agree, and I think they do a very good job of maintaining structure. In fact, I think that's probably in the game in their minor semi-final, in the major semi-final. I think there was a bit of disappointment at Oxford. I think they may have lost their structure a little bit in that game, and it's unlike them because they do really, as you say, get numbers around the ball regardless of whether they're in attack or defence, and they do transition quickly and effectively.
Yep.
That was a good option.
Oh, she just...
Lovely. Well, very, very well read.
Oh, Ashne's got some slick skills, but she threw that away there, just a little bit tighter.
Looking for a foot there, I think, and just didn't quite get one.
Oh. I don't know too much about 162 Al. That's another midfielder there.
I think that's
yes,
I think that's Dana Constable.
Yeah.
Lovely hockey player. Now, 23 years old, country music capital of Australia. So Tamworth, is that what she's telling us? Yes. Apparently talented New South Wales junior who stepped away from this team for some time, but going very well in the middle there. Looks like she's playing next to Ellen.
Yeah, she is playing. They're both
DM.
Holds the centre quite well. Oh, high ball. Oh, that's a
bit sticky out there.
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy.
Tasia Abel, hopefully able to find.
Is that a pun on words there?
That was a lovely ball by Tasia Abel into the centre of the field. However, Brianna Sutton had her arm up in the air. She's playing that looks like a low DM, a low centre half in the old sort of language, and was quite free. So I think.
Nice patience by Oxford's there in the penalty circle. You kind of, I don't know what the conversion rate would be, but you think when Premier League people get into a situation like that, they're going to find a foot or anything like that. But good patience and, knowing where their tackling zone is going to be.
I think it is something for younger players watching these games and thinking about what to take out from, and that is we do talk a lot about conversions in the attacking 25, and particularly once we get into the circle, and we do want to be able to have the skill and patience and foresight to be able to find feet in the circle if we can't get a pass away or if we can't get a shot on goal. We need to be able to be thinking about that as we're entering the circle, and a number of players in these two teams, I think, are probably experts at it. Danielle Barry just looking for her mark here and has decided to go short. Amy Waller just having a little bit of a rest there. Looking for options here, Danielle Barry, and perhaps not seeing them as quickly as she'd like. Oxford's win a free hit for a couple of stick checks. Caitlin Duck back on the field for Souths. probably one of those players who can find outcomes in the circle. I think is the highest goal scorer for Souths.
I think Kim Tuck will be a bit disappointed there. She had a one-on-one with Talia McKenzie. She had the opportunity to penetrate and just a missed trap there. Maddie Webster coming on the attack there. It's a little bit too much running there. She had players moving for her.
Did, but I think we're seeing a bit of South sort of leading into the same spot. So we had two strikers there quite close together and leading into the one spot, which means their defenders were in the same line. Made it a little bit difficult for the ball carrier and not really an option for a pass.
3 minutes to go in this quarter and things are getting a little bit scrappy. You can hear Cassie Gallagher just blow a whistle a little bit harder there.
It's where we really need to make sure that as we do get tired when we're playing this type of hockey, or any type of hockey for that matter, is that we really focus on basic skills and we make sure that our options are safe options. And Lisa Miles just tried to throw a ball there through Amy Smith, and Amy's mistrapped it, but we really want to make sure that these passes are stick to stick and they're 100% passes. Seem to be sort of looking for long balls.
They are, aren't they? Whereas we saw Danny Barry looking up, and then shortening her vision just 2 or 3 minutes ago and working their way out.
I think sometimes when South, there is that tendency as you're 1-0 down and you're looking up at the clock going, okay, there's 2 minutes left in this quarter. We need to get the ball down the other end and we really need to be increasing our chances of scoring. Really what needs to happen is you need to settle in. You need to actually make sure that your build-up is strong and disciplined. And I think South need to go back to what they were doing at the beginning of the game, building up down that right-hand side of the field with 100% stick-to-stick passes.
Most definitely. See what happens here. We've got an easy elimination on. Yep.
Presented well there, Sarah Creasy, I think that is, with the ball. Showed where she wanted the ball. That's lovely stick-to-stick passing against South. That's what we want.
Good contest, Amy Waller.
Yep, Caitlin Duck.
No, it's Neva Williams.
Yeah, Caitlin Duck hit that ball for Neva Williams. Neva Williams was contesting it. Amy Waller held the ground, and I think maybe Neva's been sent for either a little bit of pushing
tap
there,
or a little bit of chat,
and maybe a little bit of chat after the push. I feel like I can hear Lucretia Sunderland here. Can you hear her? I think she's putting all her energy into supporting her beloved Oxfords.
Yeah, I can see her down there. Long-term sponsor of Oxford Hockey.
Yes.
Pet Resort.
Absolutely. Great safe place for your pet, the Pet Resort. A good short corner for Oxfords. Was that named Dixon?
Not sure. I think Duffy put it in.
Oh, it was South, sorry.
Caitlin Duck just threaded in, came off a foot. There's a bit of a stick check there as well. This will be South's 4th or 5th corner. I haven't felt them penetrate as much as what I think a coach would want, so that'll be playing on their mind as well.
I like the left slip to Tasia Abel. No, they've gone right. Tasia Abel. Oh, it's unlucky.
Takes Cook's in good position there.
She's
just
very
saw a
good.
foot.
I would not be. You could not question anything that was just called by Kate Cook. She was in perfect spot. That 1-2, that short corner from the trap to the right, back to the shot, it is a very effective short corner, but that right player can't get too far away from the battery, and they need to be able to weave that ball between the first and the second runner.
Yeah. So 2 minutes, last 15 minutes of the premiership for Premier League.
It has been a good season.
When do you take your goalkeeper off, Al?
Yeah, look, there's a number of schools of thought on this, isn't there? You know, like I'm
I reckon about the 8th minute.
Yeah.
8 minutes to go. You might as well go down fighting.
Yeah, look, my attitude is always, you know, if you're going to lose, you're going to lose. If doesn't matter whether you lose 3-0, 1-0 or 3-0, but if you're going to have a crack, you need to put everything in. So, look, with that long to go and 8 minutes to go, I'd be actually setting 2 strikers reasonably high.
Yeah, must have presence in the circle all the time.
And I think you find when you do push 2 strikers up high, it really starts to stretch the defence, which creates more space in the midfield. I think often when you set 2 strikers high, sometimes it's not the strikers that score the goals, it's the actually middies that come up through the centre of the field because they've got more space.
Yeah.
And the rules, Sharon, I think in one of the other games earlier today that wasn't televised, we had players crossing over. We had the 3/4 time mark. The players were still out on the field and the coach came out onto the field. Is that allowed?
No, that was in...
Lower grade game today?
Yeah, that was in extra time. So
yes.
In extra time, if South's managed to pull one back here and it goes to 1-1 at the end of the game, we'll go 9 minutes with... we'll go 5 minutes with 9. And then it's a complete straight swap around. So
Right.
No coach engagement again, and they've got basically 2 minutes to set again. That takes the goalkeepers from one end to the other. And then we go another 5 minutes with 7. So no coaches there.
9 players on the field for 5 minutes. If we end up at a draw, 9 players on the field for 5 minutes extra time, and then 7 players on the field for 5 minutes extra time. But it's golden goal, first past the post.
That was very unusual from Oxford. They tried to be very aggressive from the restart. They're 1-0 up. They've turned the ball over. That's a bad mistrap from Bree something there. They had turned the ball over, which was...
Good tussle there between the 2 players. Very skillful, named Dixon. Oh! So she's called a shot corner. Can you just explain to us what that breach was for, Sharon?
So she came over the top. So Neve got away with the ball. She did a couple of reverse stick traps there, or reverse stick tackles that came off, and then one of the South players came over the top of Neve from behind. So I'd say if the goalkeeper wasn't so present there, we could have gone to a stroke.
Yeah, I agree. Good
How's your
umpiring
wagon wheel?
My wagon wheel's going well. I love a wagon wheel. My little girl just bought me one up. She knows I love them. So we're taking a shot corner from the other side of the field on here, and we'll be looking for that cross ball. Interestingly, though, if you're going to hit that one, if you're going to use that short corner, you've got to have someone on that left post, and they didn't actually have anybody on that post.
Left post is we're looking at it.
They were looking for the deflection, but the ball actually popped through, and they probably did need someone behind Neve Dixon there too.
Yeah. So often when you've got a couple of short corners, I'm surprised that Oxford's went so quickly. That was only their second penalty corner, I think. Sometimes when you've got 3 or 4, 5 or 6 penalty corners, you go across to the other side. It just throws the defence out from having to defend a traditional penalty corner.
Ali Daly, Alison Maddox to Smithy.
Smithy to Phoebe Blom-Collier. Kim Tuckwell, smart enough to stop her lead there.
Lovely play, smart play. She actually stopped to give Phoebe space to run. She could see Phoebe had the momentum. She stopped. It meant her defender stopped. So it just left it a 1-on-1, not a 1-on-2.
It's a nice lead. I like to make it 46-year-old. The stop lead.
We're all good at the stop. You go, carry on.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run fast, kid.
I'd be a bit disappointed if Oxfords end up going long like they are. They really need to stay to the game plan that's won them a couple of games, and definitely put them into this situation of where they are. They don't need to go long, so...
A little bit of a wayward ball there. Oh, and
Smithy really put the pressure on.
did.
Play it in.
Nice little ball by Dana Constable.
Back of the stick there.
Dana, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, because I know that sort of the notes tell me that you don't like having your name said incorrectly, so I believe it's Dana.
Yeah,
Lovely
nice
ball.
ball to Apps. I think we both saw that there, Alex.
Yeah, we did. And
Good
Apps
circle penetration.
Apps actually did a good job then, not to
Just turn the ball over.
and also too, she found that ball a little bit hard to trap. It bobbled up a stick, but she actually got control of it. Well done, Apps. Apps is one of the older players in the team, and she plays quite a nice little outside left there. Skill by Ellen. Good option. Hoping that Oxford will just smart play in the corner.
Ooh.
Yeah, look, that's an interesting call. I think South were lucky there. They won that free hit because of the first play. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Oxford. Lots of pressure by Oxford here. Some very skillful strikers, but being handled well by South defence. You notice Oxfords are now looking at quite a flat press there, but they're giving them about 7 yards. Ashley Ninnis looks considerably blonder than I remember her.
This week.
Yes. Well done, Ash. I know exactly who you are now, and I think Ashley wants a short corner there.
She did.
She has got Brianna Sutton, who is a very low tackler, and kept her contained out there. Neva Williams with the ball, just popping it up to
Lara
Watts there.
Danny Barry's over stretching body.
Yeah.
Got that ball, rolled that ball in. Nice triangle work
Some
from
lovely
Oxford again.
triangle
Nice
work.
turn from
Phoebe
Phoebe.
Bloin-Collier's playing some lovely team hockey.
Yeah. Ellen just put the ball on the foot there. It wasn't an ideal ball. The ball was behind Ellen where she wanted the ball.
Stretched though well. Ali Dally in a great spot. Once again, just feeding the ball into that right pocket.
It's a bit of a lack of communication from
yes.
Oxford. Oxfords do really well where their midfield start wide and then they come in and they allow the strikers to do the work. So it's something that's been part of their play for all season. Good positioning there. Oh, that was quite inside the 5, yeah. Cassie wouldn't have seen that depth there, the angle there. So Kate's called that one.
Now this is where I think, and that's probably just a little bit of a lack of experience, but that ball needed to be really carefully placed. Oxfords were on the back foot. Souths had made an intercept, but instead we've tried to pump it back through the centre of the field.
Someone's going to go here as well.
What's happened down there? I couldn't
There's
quite
a little
see
bit of
that.
push and shove, and Neva Williams gets sent as well.
Was that Neva's second card?
Oh, yeah, the first one was for a green.
Yeah. Neva. I actually couldn't see that down that end, Sharon. So, South will miss Neva out there, and they'll have to. Although Neva, I think, was playing a striker, so they'll probably just play with 2 strikers stretching across the front, running laterally.
Yeah, not really what you wanted it with 8 minutes to go. So this is where we would be talking about pulling our goalkeeper off.
Yeah. This is where Souths really need to make sure they get these short corners. Ali Dally running the ball out and has managed to do that successfully.
Clearance from Phoebe on the Toma.
Phoebe's just gone, I'm not going to try and go through you. I think I will go over the top of you, and it was effective. With you here, Sharon, it's a bit of a case of, okay, there's 7 minutes to go. Souths, you're going to have to do something. This is not working. You're not getting through. You're not really doing anything wrong, but you're not actually getting through.
You can just see that they've pushed Caitlin Duck up high, and she's just opened the midfield up a little bit, and now they're in attack. So
Yeah.
smart play. They will struggle. They will struggle, but they'll throw everything into.
They will, and I really really like to see people around the goal, which is what we've just seen here. And they need outcomes though.
That was a penalty. That was a shot. That was a shot on goal. So she went to a reverse stick, got a stick in there by Smitty. So nice lead again. I think Oxford's are going to be. It's going to be a jeopardy if they don't step up and defend because they haven't got the third striker.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think what's going to happen here is South are going to start pumping a lot of balls.
A couple of hit and hopes,
circle,
but you only need a bad. Here comes another one, and you need a foot.
Oh, and that was very close. Once again, they're going out. They'll probably look to pump back in, knowing that they have to actually, from a long corner, they can't hit straight into the circle, as we've spoken about before. So they're looking to drop the ball out to some big hitters that are outside the 25 so that they can hit straight in.
Yeah, this is where your attacking midfield needs to take players out, so it's only like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 in the circle and not 25 on 13 sticks on feet.
Oh, wow. And I think that was the right call by Kate Cook. I think that had that infringement not taken place, the player would have walked into the circle.
Yep.
They're the types of calls that we love to see, and as players, you really enjoy having good umpiring because they're not intentional professional fouls, but they are professional fouls.
Yeah, they're breakdown tackles, and probably not a deliberate breakdown tackle,
right.
But if it come off, it was going to be a glory tackle. But if it doesn't, you're on the end of a penalty corner.
If South need to sink one at any point, it is now. They're looking for this one too. They're really looking for it. Well umpired by Kate Cook.
Kate plays a lot of advantage in there. That was too far away then.
She said there was nothing in that, and she was 100% right.
4 minutes to go. Kim Tackle probably needs to tuck in a bit tighter there. She's wide in the press. And South have got to play up really, really high. They can't afford to let Caitlin duck up there.
How long's Neva got to go over there?
I reckon about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Ball's going to go right here. Lovely, lovely placed ball. They're going to go into the pocket again. Probably not a time to be fiddling with the ball though. We really want to try and make some cut-through passes.
I'm wondering what Ash Ninnis is doing in the circle there. She's not really marking someone. It's probably her and Tasia able to shoulder to shoulder. So, yeah. Well,
good steal in the circle by Souths, but no outcome.
Phoebe wasn't really ready for that ball. So
Oxfords just need to switch on, stay switched on for the next 3 minutes. Skillful by Souths. Oh, Lara Watts. Is that Lara?
Yep, it was Lara Watts.
Very skillful. She's lovely on that left-hand side. Sort of left-hand play, left-hand drag. Very clean left-hand drags.
Stalwart Amy Waller returns to the field.
Amy Waller's received a little bit of a
standing ovation from the Oxfords.
Yes, the Oxfords cheer squad. Souths, 2 minutes to go. Sharon, this is where your goalie comes off.
Yep. So
you
I'm
put
surprised.
an extra player on the field, particularly when you've got Neva Williams. She's just come back on, has she?
Yep, she
just
will
back
be back
on. Ali Dally.
She knows when she wants the ball, and that was just then, but it's just come off her foot.
Is quite unnerving to play against.
You can't question it.
No, absolutely. She's skillful and she's strong. Free hit to Souths outside the circle. difficult play here. That probably was very, very close to being a short corner with Oxford's that close, but Kate was in a good spot.
Well, it could have gone either way. I don't think the South team were retreating either.
Mackenzie Harvey, knowing that good for a goalkeeper, knows they need to score, knows they need the ball back. She's run over to get that ball for them. So Tony Duck's clearly not going to take his keeper off, and it is. There are some coaches who don't like to do it.
But they've got to understand how to play with it as well. Like, it's not about just having 11 field players. Then it's about positioning and strategies around that.
Another player who is just so aggressive. Really good hockey player named Dixie.
Smitty with a nice steal there. Can they possess for a minute 19?
Good little touch finder by Smithy. Really held that line well. She wasn't right next to her player. Her player had gone high, but she had her line. That's smart hockey. Tasia Abel, steal there. Getting called for coming in over the top of that player, though.
Yeah, there was a bit of a stick check there as well.
And I think she probably knew that.
Oxford's needs just to control this for 44 seconds on the field. Bit of gamemanship here. I'll go and get the ball for you. No, you get the ball for me. Ali Daly.
Nice simple play.
Yep.
Amy Smith will know what to do here as well. That's simple. They're just going to walk this. Ali Daly, very experienced. Ali Maddox, sorry, Ali.
Kim Tackle's in the corner here. Go forward.
We're looking for. They'll find her here. She'll just take this ball into the corner.
Well, that was the decision. Was she could have penetrated in the circle, or she could have.
South. That's a nice clean up. Into the corner again. Into the corner
down
again.
to 5 seconds. Well done, Oxfords.
Well done, Oxfords.
Another bridesmaid for. Well done, Oxfords Hockey Club. No one touched Jude there. Oh, we've got a hug.
Jude's got a hug. Well done. Well done, Oxfords. Deserved win for Oxford Hockey Club.
Well done.
Being our first commentating gig. We're just working out what the rules here are. So we're super excited to have had our Amy Waller giving the crowd what they want. We're super excited to have had our grand final on Bar TV, and we hope that we can continue to do it. It's great for our sport, great for Newcastle hockey. So thanks to everybody for listening. And,
thank you. Thanks, Alex. Well done.
Thanks, Sharon.
Cheers.